You're watching Morning Live and we're at Tsitsikamma and I'm taking pictures of Storms River, and let me tell you that is going to be my new screensaver. It's picturesque beyond words, and we're chatting today about SANParks Week, which is the start of a week where you, the public, have got an opportunity to visit any of the 20 national parks except for Table Mountain and Namakwa, where you do have to pay to get in. But if you've got an ID book, you can get in for free this week. That's Monday through to Friday. Please make sure that you use this opportunity, because there are amazing things to see and experience. And I've got to tell you though, as much as we enjoy watching, seeing and experiencing these resources, it is important to conserve and protect our natural heritage and resources for future generations. And that's one theme that you're going to hear quite a lot. We heard it from the Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture a short while ago. And it's not just areas such as this, but all our national parks, not just for their aesthetic value, but also the threat to species that are there, that humans are ultimately depending on. To tell us a little bit about how to keep these parks sustainable and how to keep them going and protected, I'm now joined by Thakgodi, who's the Acting Head of Communications from SANParks. Thank you very much for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, Ray, so we get to enjoy these national parks, great things going on, great work, but I guess the challenge that you have is keeping them sustainable.
Absolutely. Running the business of conservation is not an easy task. It's not even a cheap task. It's quite an expensive exercise that we're doing. But of course, as we go forward, we learn a lot about how to sustain ourselves. And we've been doing quite a number of things. And one of the models that we have in terms of running our business is the PPP, the public-private partnerships that we have introduced in most of our national parks. And up to this point, it's been working quite well.
All right, so some people might say that, look, business is about, making money, making profits, but the other side of it is conservation. And in fact, I think one of your initiatives is, I think one of the boats are being launched even as we speak now, and water adventure and tourism. So there's commercial interests and conservation. Aren't these sort of on a collision course?
Certainly not. We run our business within the ethos of conservation. We make sure that whatever we build, whatever we sort of introduce in any of our national parks, it falls within the ethos of conservation. We're not at all going outside the boundaries of conservation, as our mandate dictates that we conserve. And that's what we do. That's what we do. So we make sure that everything that we do is sustainable for the future generations also will be able to see.
Well, tell us a little bit about this particular initiative, like this boating here. That's one of your sort of PPPs, isn't it?
That's correct. We've got a number of them. For instance, our restaurants are fully independent. They're fully concessions or concessionaires in most of our national parks. We've got restaurants, we've got shops that are run by businesses, and as South African national parks, we're simply getting a percentage out of that business. But we also ensure, I want to emphasize that we ensure certainly that within the ethos of conservation, it's nothing outside our mandate, it's nothing outside the environmental aspects of what we do.
And these commercial partners, do they also understand the conservation imperative? Particularly this, I'm fascinated by this boat that's coming out that's just been launched now. And I guess this is part of your adventure tourism aspect of your parks.
Absolutely. These guys are wonderful. They're marvelous. And they've been running these operations for some time. That in itself should tell you that we are within the boundaries of conservation. Because if they were not sustainable, they wouldn't be operating as we speak. But we are quite satisfied with their operations, and they are able to sustain our business.
All right, and these are the Rangers patrol boats, so that they're busy traveling up and down the coastline protecting it.
Absolutely. We have a lot of law enforcement issues, particularly in the coast. There's a lot of abalone poaching in the coast. Of course, poaching or anti-poaching operations that we are running are also not cheap. We really put a lot of resource in terms of ensuring that these parks are taken care of. We have rhino poaching in the Kruger National Park. We have to make sure that we've got enough arsenal to be able to fight this sketch of rhino poaching, including abalone poaching, including the poaching of plants as well. And it really doesn't come cheap. but the kind of model that we have, it really assisting us in terms of putting our business sustainable.
All right, and I guess a final message for the public and those that particularly enjoy the facilities and walk through the parks and drive through the parks. How can they help you with the sustainability message?
As I've indicated, one of the challenges is poaching. And you might know that some of the poachers live within our communities. And we know that the war against poaching, we're not going to win it in the bush or here in the coast. We'll win it anywhere else. So we need assistance. We need assistance from our communities to actually make sure that those that are behind the scourge of poaching are actually put behind bars. And we will do with that. We'll do with their help. We'll do with the information that they can bring to the authorities to make sure that we sustain these areas. We borrowed these places, from our kids. Therefore, we need to leave them for future generations to be able to experience them as much as we are now experiencing.
All right, Ray Thakgodi, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us, though.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
All right, so that's Ray Thakgodi, who's the acting head of communications at SANParks, and telling us you can do your bit. If you know people who are up to no good, report them. Let's sustain and keep our parks viable. Let's go back to studio, though. Ayanda?